I think it was very engaging, and I'm going to attempt to kind of tell you what I thought you did really well, and then maybe just some small things that you might work on that I noticed. Um, I thought you had great posture. You were standing up, and you're in front of the screen. You looked very confident. Your eye contact was good with your camera at your computer. So there's something I noticed, some non-verbal things. Also, your hand movements were really well, and they just kind of went with your thoughts and transitioning, which was great. And as far as verbally, it was interesting hearing your experiences, like with your emotional mentor. It was nice. That was very engaging to hear, integrate some stories in there, not just, going on talking. And you were having fun laughing at yourself, which is always good. And I know the audience loves hearing that. And, don't have too much ego to just start laughing at yourself. And I know one of your goals that you told me was transitioning from one idea to the other. And I thought you did that really well. Just a few things you may want to work on that I noticed. You maybe were going a little fast, and one way to mitigate that could be to pause and slow down a little bit, in between your thoughts. And another thing, and I do this a lot. Both things need to pause sometimes and just kind of relax and take a deep breath and think about your thoughts and know that you don't really have to go so fast. So those were the only two things that I thought, and that's just my opinion. So yeah, I would challenge you to pause, maybe drop your shoulders a little bit and slow down during a speech. But overall, I thought it was very engaging. The contiguity of your thought, which was your goal, was great. And overall, I thought you did it very well, and it was well done.
All right. Thank you, Josh, for that evaluation. And now our last evaluator will be Barry, and he will be evaluating Greg's speech.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. There's a big difference between getting a Hershey bar and getting a Wonka bar with the golden ticket. And Greg, I want to tell you what you did really well and what you could do even better so that you can get into the Wonka factory. You had great storytelling, and the key to any great contest speech is telling a story, and a personal story at that. You used your body language very well and used the video stage that you had really nicely. You were in, you're out, you were filling the screen, you were using lots of body language to emphasize your points, and that was a really great example for everyone. You also engage the audience very well, as you always do, because you're enthusiastic, you have a great smile, you have a twinkle in your eye, and it always makes us feel good to see you speak. And you also had a really strong point, a strong thesis that held everything together, and you drove toward that in a very organized way. And the bottom line is you're always an entertaining and effective speaker, even on a bad day. But I don't think you're going to have a bad day on Saturday. What I would say, if you want to go to the international speech contest and win, I think you need to make a few changes that might strengthen your speech even more. Some of our professional speakers have given us the advice that you should tell a story, make the point, make an application, and then challenge the audience with an action. That's called the SPAA format. And I think that maybe if you had a little bit less story and more application, you may be able to get some greater points into your speech. So maybe consider shortening your story a little bit. Maybe you don't need quite as much background and detail in that story. A winning contest speech also has really high highs and low lows, if that makes sense. So we always want to go on a journey with you in a speech. And the best journey is when we see the lowest low come back to the highest high. And maybe you need to try to stretch those extremes a little more. Don't be afraid to make us cry. help us understand the despair that you had getting bucked off that horse a couple of times, because it's really frustrating. But then help us to really understand the joy that you had and bring us to a higher high. The other thing that I think you may be able to do is expand this beyond just the confines of Toastmasters. Make this a human story about COVID in general. I'm not sure that it was as effective with just the Toastmaster contest, kind of reflecting on what clubs are doing and what members within clubs are doing. Make this universal. I think you can make this a really great speech, and then just challenge us and inspire us more to take action. Let me show you the form. I know I'm running out of time, and if I run over, I don't really care. Because I want to give the feedback, and I want others to understand what it's like to have that speech contest. So this is the form in the way that I fill it out. Can you guys see that? Okay. So I would give Greg about a 15 on speech development, 12 for effectiveness, 11 for speech value, a 10 for his physical appearance, body language, speaking area, very good, 8 on voice, 8 on manner, 9 on appropriateness, and a 7 on correctness, because I did find that there were a lot of ands stringing together clauses that you could probably eliminate. So overall, maybe an 80 out of 100. And I didn't have anyone to compare this to, so it's very difficult in a speech contest format. So that's the type of evaluation that Greg is going to get on Saturday. And if you guys would like more information about that, let me know. But Greg, I think you have a great cornerstone, a great story, and I think that you can polish this even more and go on to win.
Hey Barry, this is Jamie, and I know I'm popping in here. What would be an average score?